5 facts why earthquakes occur in Japan. First fact, geological location. Japan occupies a unique geographical position in the most active seismic zone on the planet, known as the Ring of Fire. This ring is a closed circle that spans the boundaries of the Pacific Ocean and includes a number of volcanoes, undersea rifts, and tectonic plates. Japan lies within this zone, making it prone to high seismic activity. The main mechanism underlying this activity is related to the movement of the tectonic plates that make up the Earth's crust. In this region, 4 major tectonic plates, the Pacific, North American, Eurasian, and Philippine, collide and interact with each other. The Pacific plate, sliding under the Eurasian plate in the process of subduction, creates enormous stress, which is periodically released in the form of earthquakes. This process also involves the formation of faults and fissures in the Earth's crust, known as fissures. Japan is crossed by a number of such faults, including the Pacific Rift, which further increases the likelihood of earthquakes. Thus, Japan's geological location in a zone of high seismic activity is one of the main factors causing frequent earthquakes in this region. Second fact, tectonic plates. Japan is located in a region where 4 major tectonic plates collide, which is an important factor in the occurrence of earthquakes in the region. First of all, the Pacific plate, moving to the northeast, collides with the Eurasian plate. This process is known as subduction, where the heavier Pacific plate sinks under the lighter Eurasian plate. This collision builds up enormous stress, which is eventually released in the form of earthquakes. The North American plate also interacts with the Pacific plate, creating complex systems of faults and cracks. These plate collisions and interactions lead to the formation of girder faults, which are sites of concentrated seismic activity. Japan lies at the intersection of several such faults, such as the Philippine Sea Rift and the Japan Sea Rift, making it particularly prone to earthquakes. These complex tectonic plate interactions can also cause the Earth's crust to rise and fall, further contributing to geodynamic processes and increased seismic activity in the region. Thus, the Japanese islands face constant stress created by the interaction of tectonic plates, which is an important factor in the occurrence of earthquakes in the region. Third fact, deep seas of Japan. The Japanese islands are surrounded by deep seas, which has a significant impact on seismic activity in the region. These deep seas are associated with underwater gelatin faults, which also contribute to earthquakes. Undersea faults play a key role in transmitting seismic activity from the Pacific Ocean to the Japanese islands. The Pacific Fire, which extends around Japan, contains many submarine rifts, the most famous of which are the Japan Sea Rift and the Philippine Sea Rift. These faults represent boundaries between 2 tectonic plates and can cause seismic activity both underwater and on land. Deep sea escarpments also create conditions for more efficient movement of tectonic plates. When these plates collide and interact underwater, it can create a lot of stress and cause underwater cracks and faults to form. These underwater faults can be a source of seismic activity and subsequently cause earthquakes affecting the coastal areas of Japan. Thus, Japan's deep seas play an important role in setting the conditions for underwater seismic events, which contributes to the overall seismic activity in the region. Fourth fact, volcanism. Volcanism is another important factor influencing earthquakes in Japan. The country is located in a tectonically active region where not only the collision of tectonic plates occurs, but also the rise of magma from the Earth's mantle to the surface, which leads to the formation of volcanoes. As a result of this, Japan has many active volcanoes, which can be the source of both eruptions and seismic activity. Volcanism is associated with the movement of magma through the Earth's crust and its release to the surface. During this movement, magma can cause deformation of the Earth's crust and the creation of new cracks and faults. These faults can become an additional source of earthquakes, especially near volcanoes. When the pressure and tension inside a volcano become too high, it can lead to an eruption accompanied by earthquakes. The top of the volcano may collapse, causing a seismic wave, or the eruption of magma may create additional stress in the crust, causing earthquakes around the volcano and in the wider area. Thus, volcanism in Japan not only leads to potentially dangerous eruptions, but also increases seismic activity in the region, making Japan even more prone to earthquakes. Fifth fact, energy load. Another reason for frequent earthquakes in Japan is energy load accumulated as a result of the deformation of tectonic plates. This process begins when tectonic plates collide and come into contact with each other. In the region of Japan where the Pacific, North American, Eurasian, and Philippine plates collide, there is an active accumulation of energy. During this collision, the plates can become locked against each other due to friction along faults and cracks. As energy continues to accumulate in this confined space, tension is created, which can be released suddenly in the form of an earthquake when the friction is overcome. This process is known as seismic deformation. Events that cause energy to be released include faults and cracks along tectonic plate boundaries. When a crack suddenly expands or a fault shifts instantly, it causes the release of stored energy, leading to seismic waves and ultimately an earthquake. Japan, being in a zone of active collisions of tectonic plates, is faced with a constant process of loading and releasing energy. This factor makes the country one of the most seismically active regions in the world and causes frequent earthquakes in this region.